All right, today we're diving into a really powerful talk by the Korean Sun Master Subul, and he puts forward this radical idea. What if the enlightenment and peace that we're all searching for isn't something we need to find, but something we just need to recognize?
So let's just start with that question, because it really is the heart of this entire teaching. What if this relentless search for happiness, for truth, for fulfillment, what if it's all based on a huge misunderstanding? What if the prize you're so desperately seeking is something you've had in your pocket the entire time? It's a challenging thought for sure, but it's the key that unlocks everything else we're about to get into.
And this just illustrates the problem perfectly. Master Subul uses this classic, kind of funny Zen metaphor to describe our spiritual search. I mean, just imagine the absurdity of it. You're running around frantically asking everyone you meet, "Hey, have you seen my head?" All while it's sitting right there on your shoulders, where it's always been. According to him, that's pretty much the human condition.
This brings us to our first major idea, which is captured in this famous Zen saying, riding an ox to find an ox.
You know how it is. We're constantly looking for something more, right? More peace, more success, more understanding. We read the books, we go to the retreats, we follow the gurus, all in this huge effort to get a hold of some truth that we believe is somewhere out there. We are absolutely convinced that our current self, this present moment, is somehow not enough.
And this is where the teaching just completely flips the whole idea of searching on its head. Master Subul says that the act of seeking itself is what keeps the illusion going, the illusion that what you're looking for is missing. See, the truth isn't something you go out and find. It's the very thing you're using to look in the first place. The real problem isn't that we don't have the truth. It's that we're using it every single second of our lives and we don't even realize it.
Okay, so if the search is the problem, what's the solution? Well, the Master's answer gets right to the heart of his teaching. Let's call it the Buddha in the mirror.
So this right here is the crucial point. And listen, this isn't some nice poetic metaphor. It's a direct instruction. We're being told to realize that this very mind, the one that's thinking, feeling, and hearing these words right now, is not separate from the enlightened nature we're looking for. There's no distant goal to achieve. The Buddha isn't just a historical figure or a gold statue. It's the fundamental nature of your own awareness.
Now, to really get this, we have to understand a key distinction he makes about the word purity. We usually think of purity as, a clean shirt that can get a stain on it. That's relative purity. But what this teaching is pointing to is absolute purity. Think of it like this. Imagine the space in a room. You can fill it with smoke or dust or light, but the space itself is never stained. It's always untouched. That, he says, is the nature of our mind. It can contain all kinds of thoughts and emotions, but its fundamental nature is never, ever corrupted.
Okay, so if our mind is already the Buddha, why don't we realize it? Well, a big reason, according to Zen, is that we get completely tangled up in language and concepts. We try to think our way to a reality that is actually beyond thought.
Master Subul points out that the ultimate truth can't be packaged into words. It's a direct experience, not a theory. The words of all the great masters, they're like a finger pointing at the moon. They're super important to show you where to look, but they are not the moon itself.
The very instant we try to explain truth, a separation is created, right? We created this and a that, a speaker and a concept. From this point of view, even for a fully enlightened person, the moment they open their mouth to try and explain it, a fault is created, because that direct, unified experience gets lost in the clumsiness of words.
Now, this doesn't mean that teaching is useless, of course, but it does stress the profound limitation of language. The danger is that we get so caught up in the concepts, the words, and all the descriptions that we end up mistaking the menu for the meal.
This leads us to a really fascinating and, frankly, very serious concept about the responsibility that comes with walking a spiritual path. It's this idea of the practitioner's debt.
So in Korean culture, this is known as baekgap, which literally means the price of a meal. When a monk or a nun receive support from their community, food, a place to stay, they're not just getting a free lunch. They are taking on a deep spiritual obligation. The community's offering is like an investment in their enlightenment. And if the practitioner fails to achieve that realization, that debt has to be repaid.
And to really illustrate this, the Master shares this wild story of a monk who received support his entire life but never managed to attain enlightenment. Well, after he died, he was reborn as a mushroom on a tree in his benefactor's yard. He kept growing back, year after year, offering himself as food to repay the debt he couldn't settle when he was human. It's a really powerful reminder of how seriously this path is taken.
So we've talked about the problem with searching.
the reality of our true nature, and the trap of words. This brings us to the final and maybe most important question. What does it actually mean to stop looking?
The state that arises when the search finally stops is called musim, or no mind. Now, this is a hugely misunderstood term. It is not about being some thoughtless zombie or being indifferent to the world. No, it's the exact opposite. It's a state of supreme attention, an awareness that is so vast and so open that it can hold everything without being captured or disturbed by any of it.
So the big takeaway from this whole explainer really comes down to this. The treasure you are seeking is not buried on some distant island. It's the very ground you're standing on. The entire spiritual journey, it turns out, is not about becoming something new, but about relaxing into the profound realization of what you have always been. It's about ending that inner war of seeking.
And that leaves us with a final question to carry with us. And this isn't some riddle you have to solve with your brain, it's an invitation. If you were to truly, completely, just for one single moment, stop looking for something else, stop trying to improve yourself or fix yourself, what's left? What is here?